PAX East 2017. I'm standing here with Lee. We're talking about Hand of Fate 2. So tell me about Hand of Fate 2.
So Hand of Fate 2, like Hand of Fate, is a combination of a deck-building game, roguelike dungeon crawler with choose-your-own-adventure elements and third-person action RPG combat. So if you're a fan of the first Hand of Fate, you are going to love the things that we've done with Hand of Fate 2, because we've been able to, with this version of the game, we're really doubling down on our storytelling, on our strategic deck building, and we have just made our combat like 1,000 times more interesting and more fun.
Okay, I did enjoy the combat of the original game. I have likened it to sort of Arkham Asylum, where you can combo and counter people and all that kind of stuff. What have you added? What have you done extra to the combat to make it even better?
To begin with, we've got a lot more just general like animation flow things that make it feel a lot more responsive. We've added some new weapon styles. So in the original game, we just had like sword and shield fighting. Now we've got big two-handed heavy weapons. We've got quick dual-wielding daggers, and we've changed the way that your weapon special powers work now. So this time around, they're attached to your weapon combo meter. So the better you are, the more hits you get off without getting hit yourself, the more cool stuff you're able to do in a fight.
Okay, and I see the character from the original who's dealing with the dealer.
Yeah.
So is that the same character, or narratively, without giving away too much? Maybe about either game. I don't know if you can do that, but is it the same character?
Yeah, it's the same guy. So Hand of Fate 2 is set 100 years after the conclusion of Hand of Fate 1.
And he's still alive.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so he's crawled his way back from Oblivion, and now he's enlisted you as a new hero to be the instrument of his revenge against the hero from Hand of Fate 1.
Okay, so you are working for the bad guy, essentially.
Well,
do you know he's the bad guy?
You've got a pretty good idea that like he's got complicated, issues going on. But in the 100 years since the end of the first game, the world's kind of been corrupted by the hero from Hand of Fate 1. So the absolute power that he's had access to as the new owner of the game of life and death has corrupted him as well.
Even more than he was.
Yeah.
Even more, so he's even worse.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just looking at some of the levels, the combat sequences, the levels are that much more expansive and they look a lot more detailed.
Yes, yeah. One of the main complaints with the original game was that our combat arenas were slightly too small to really be able to handle the number of troops that we were throwing at you. So we've made them much larger. They're really, interesting shapes to get into fights in now. And we've got a much more responsive and useful camera system this time around.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Are there still rat men?
The rat men have been driven out, actually, in the 100 years. That's one of the things that has occurred. A lot of the magical elements have been expunged from the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
The slow motion, the death kill is still there. I always enjoyed that last hit.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, we like those.
So has, in the first game, you would come upon like a traveling merchant and you're able to buy things. That system kind of worked the same way?
Yeah, it's a similar system now, except our creative director always hated the fact that the purchasing of items and cards in Hand of Fate 1 was at this weirdly abstracted level. It broke the metaphor of the game, because you would go into the card to find a merchant, and then you would be buying cards from him anyway, so it was like this weird, how does this line up with...
You're in a card buying cards.
Yeah.
To buy more cards.
That's it. So now we don't shift to a new map when you go to a store. It all happens on the table screen. It's a lot smoother, a lot more sensible. It's all just part of the story cards now.
Okay. And the idea of doing some sort of a run is still there, where you can play a 35, 40 minute kind of a run to go to the...
Yeah. We've actually we've improved our progression system this time around. So in the original game, we just had a series of boss fights that you'd engage in. This time we have 22 challenges. Each one of those will be a storyline with a start and a finish, as well as a deck building objective. So you're kind of playing through this little narrative, while at the same time you have to start engaging with the strategic deck building right out of the gate. So we want people to be exploring their deck and getting out of their comfort zone.
I have to say, I'm not really into a lot of card games like that, but because you melded it with the action, it really worked. It clicked with me.
Yeah.
Normally, if you show me cards and die, I'm like, unless I'm playing Monopoly or something, I'm all right, I'm good. But it's a nice combination. It works.
Yeah, I
It
think
works.
the hybrid nature of it means that, if there are elements that would ordinarily put you off, like I'm not a huge deck building guy myself, I can't think that far ahead strategically, but because everything's tied into the story and tied into getting your RPG hero to be cooler with more gear, like that metaphor works. I get that.
Yeah, I play games with cards. I'm not averse to them.
Yeah.
But I did like the risk reward where you do something and it's like, the game will change. It's random. Like it might work out, you might, fall to your death. I don't know. So when you mentioned the challenges, are those like the gauntlets in the first game?
Yeah. They're similar to the boss runs, except now they're a lot more focused. We wanted to be able to tell richer stories with this one. People really enjoyed the storytelling aspect of Hand of Fate, but because it was so broken up, you never really, over the course of an individual play session, you wouldn't necessarily get a story with a start and a finish. You'd get a continuation, but for some people that was quite frustrating. And for us, we found that we wanted to be able to do that, have those piecemeal stories play out as you unlocked cards, but we also wanted you to be able to get a sense of your place in the world and get a better sense of your
It's more like
history.
narrative permanence to what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what platforms is this coming out on?
Just like the first game, we're coming out on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. It's all going to be coming out at the same time. The release date is a little bit of a mystery at the moment. I can tell you that we're going to be having a limited access beta next month, and once that's wrapped up, we'll be able to talk about release.
Okay.
But it's definitely coming out soon. It's definitely coming out this year.
Definitely 2017.
Yes.
And there's zombies in the game now.
Yes.
There were not zombies in the original game, were there?
No, there were
think so.
skeletons, but
Yes.
yeah, these are plague-ridden paupers that have been affected by a magical outbreak called the Blight. So we have all new cards, all new encounters, all new enemies, all new locations.
So I guess my final question would be, will there be Ratman DLC?
We're really, really hoping we can get the Ratman into the DLC.
I like the Ratman.
We love the Ratman as well. We got to the end as we're locking down content, and we're like,
Where's the Ratman?
We left out the Ratman.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Lee.
Not a problem, Aaron.